So, what's the key branding lesson that we can learn from the Paris Olympics? If the scene is full of shit, change your narrative and maybe also look at the plumbing. Stick around as we look at 5 key branding lessons that we can learn from the Paris Olympics and how we can apply those into our branding exercise. Let's get started. Hi, I'm Neha. I'm an executive coach with a core focus on branding for organizations and individuals. If this is the first time that we are having an interaction, welcome. So I'm so glad to see you here. And if you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for clicking on another video. If you have anything to share, any comments, any observations, perhaps any other ideas that I could probably look at, please do let me know. I would love to hear from you. The first, the most basic, and the most important lesson that we can learn is embrace your shit. Paris is an old city with lots of history and lots of culture. Of course, it's going to be a little dirty, a little rough around the edges, a little grimy. But that did not stop it from saying, yes, we know there are some things that need to be cleaned up. We will take care of it. And you know what? We are going to become the greenest Olympics ever in the process. Similarly, in branding, one needs to accept change and embrace innovation. Whether it is about accepting your challenges or understanding new technologies and using them to your advantage, staying relevant requires a willingness to adapt. Lesson number 2, leverage your strengths. Paris is a city that is known for its history, its culture, its beautiful landmarks. In fact, the French loved Paris so much that they were willing to give it up to Hitler instead of having it razed to the ground. So they know what they have and they showcase the hell out of it. The Louvre, the Eiffel Tower, the Palace of Versailles are mere landmarks in the grand story of Olympics that's being told in Paris today. And the same goes for your branding. Understand what makes you good, understand your strengths, understand how you can showcase it in the best manner possible, and then continue to find ways where those strengths are leveraged to the fullest. Lesson number 3, change the narrative. Like any talented Indian mom who's staying kick ass on a budget, France repurposed. It took its old, slightly grimy, a little bit rough around the edges house and retold its story in a glorious way, making it about regrowth, about living within your means, and most importantly, about cleaning up your mess. And similarly, when it comes to branding, it's never too late to rewrite your story. Highlight what is good, change what you think needs improvement, and talk about it. Accept the fact that there were some changes that were required and you made them. You know why? Because the world loves a good redemption story. So give them one. Lesson number 4, get the haters to like you. Now we know how brutal the French can be with their opinions, and given the French population's proclivity to go La Revolution against their own government, what Paris did was that they took these people in cahoots. There were lots of volunteer-led cleanup drives that were done. There was public consultations on Olympic projects, and that way the naysayers are actually on your side, and then they're more likely to hype you up. And this one is fairly simple to translate when it comes to branding, right? If you have a community that engages well with you, that knows that when it gives you feedback, you will receive it well, you're more likely to have people who are willing to support you when you actually need it. So get the haters to turn. Lesson number 5, which is last, but as you know, it's not the least, consistency. There has obviously been a lot of scandal, there's obviously a lot of information going on, but Paris has stayed consistent on its message. They're talking about regrowth, they're talking about repurpose, they want to showcase their history, and they want to do it in the most ecological way possible. And in branding, of course, consistency is key. It builds value, it builds trust, and it builds recognition. Whatever you do consistently, let me repeat that, whatever you do consistently is your brand, whether you want it or not. So I would rather that you take that privilege and craft the brand that you want to stand for. Whatever is your most consistent value, message, or visual is what your audience will remember at all times. So that's all that I wanted to talk about the Paris Olympics. I hope that this was interesting, if not valuable, and I hope that it was valuable too. Do share it with someone you think that this might be helpful for, and Subscribe now. Here, this is the link. Please subscribe. I'll see you soon. Bye bye.